no, not all men cheat. And I'm so sick of all this toxic discourse about how you just can't trust men. And because the wizard Liz got cheated on, then that means that everybody's screwed. That is so toxic. That is just as toxic as men who cheat. Like, there are absolutely wonderful men, and you need more real life examples. Let me give you one. My dad is a man who doesn't cheat. And it's real. People are going to be like, oh, who's going to tell her? No, my dad does not cheat. He takes his marriage so seriously. And that's why my parents are going to be celebrating their 40th wedding anniversary this year. 40 years. But guess what they did at the very beginning of that? They did not have sex for 2 years until they got married. Until they got married, they only made out, cuddled. Yeah, and that was my dad's doing. When a man is actually a leader in a relationship and actually takes his sexual life seriously and doesn't let it run his life, really amazing things can happen. And I used to think, oh, that's so nice for them, but I could never do that. I left the church when I was 20 or 21, and I didn't understand the value of what my parents had built. Now that I'm 37 years old, I understand how rare it is for a man to be like that. But they are out there, and there are a lot more now than ever, because people are sick of this. People are sick of not having real marriages. People want to be in partnership. Men want to provide for women. Women want to take care of men, want to provide for their families. That stuff is natural. And yes, there's a dark side to trad wife stuff. Trust me. But there is also a really beautiful side, and my family is proof of that. My grandfather, my dad's dad, was the worst man in the world, and he was a complete narcissist, a covert one, and he had a lot of money, so he got married 7 times. One time to David Spade's mom. It's a random fact about me. I don't know if you guys remember David Spade, but I think he's still famous. But yeah, he got married 7 times, and the things that he put my father through are unspeakable, honestly. But my dad watched his dad not control himself at all and always act like Landon did and had money. That's another thing I want to talk about. We need to talk about people with money and how you actually need to move so slow with them, because people with money, especially a lot of it, are so dangerous, and you can get love bombed so much faster, especially if you're practicing manifestation, because you think that the universe is paying you back. I have lived through that myself, and people with money, in my experience, have been some of the scariest people I have ever met, and they are never satisfied. That is like my grandfather, that is Landon. So many people who have extreme wealth can't feel satisfied, and one of the ways that they get through that is by cheating, right? But my dad watched his dad not control any of his urges, not ever work on himself, not ever be honest with himself, and he decided he was going to be completely different. And he and my mom built something real, and that trust that my mom has in my dad, because he spent so long fostering a real relationship and not forcing and pushing the intimacy too fast, and the trust that they have in each other is, it's unbelievably beautiful. And every time I see situations like this, it reminds me yeah, I have an example of a real marriage that I get to watch in real time. And I still don't know if I ever want to be in a relationship, because it's so hard to actually find that in another person and to actually build something like that. But it's 100% possible. But no, not all men cheat, but you better move like they do. And you better find a man or a woman, because women are just as scary. That's another thing we need to talk about. Oh my gosh. But you better find a partner, whatever gender they are, that is willing to control the bad parts of themselves, that is honest about the bad parts of themselves, that wants to do the hard work of a real relationship.